Hey everybody, it's Maggie. I am here in New York City with my good buddy. My good buddy, she is my friend, and she also does my color. People ask me all the time, who does your color? This is the lady. It's Eva Scrivo, who is, what are you called, the queen of balayage? What do people call you?
I like to be called the princess of
the
balayage.
princess. Oh, I like that. I like anything with princess in it works.
Sounds a little younger.
So we're here in New York City at her Bond Street studio, and people ask me all the time, what's the deal with balayage? What is it? So I thought we'd go right to Eva, and she's going to debunk some myths. We have an article up on our site right now, Debunking Balayage Myths. That is with Eva, but she's going to bring up some more. And I want you guys to ask questions, so I'm going to flip this around right to Eva Scrivo. So Eva, while everybody's joining us, why don't you tell us what balayage is?
Well, balayage is French for to sweep or sweeping. So you sweep the color on. It's kind of like a brush stroke or a paint stroke, and it's great for any of you who have an art background. So if you've painted as a kid or through pots even and worked with shape and texture, but all of you that worked with watercolor or acrylics, you will love this technique. And there's so many myths about it. There's so many things that I want to share with you today. One being is that, is it a trend or a technique? And I say it's a technique because you can achieve so many different looks by using balayage. Many more looks than you think.
Okay, so everybody's talking about my hair and your hair, how silky it is.
Oh, wow, thank you.
And so a lot of people think balayage is really just for blonding. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think that you can do an array of looks. One misconception is that if someone has box color on their hair and say it's very dark and you're trying to lift it out, one would only use foils. But because balayage works more slowly and it processes not as quickly as foils, I say that foils is like frying and balayage is like baking. And since the process is slower, you actually emit less orange and yellow or gold tones from the hair, and you get less brassiness. So you can almost control your color correction more effectively by processing more slowly using the balayage technique opposed to foils. So that's a big myth. And once women and men start doing this technique without the foils, they realize, wow, I don't have so much to tone.
Okay, it's funny. I'm going to ask you more questions, but someone just said, does she have a book? And I just want to, actually
yes,
she does.
I do.
I'm just going to run over here real quick. This is her book. We're going to come right back to her. We're coming right back. This is just like the coolest line. Okay, oops. There's Miss Eva. She got distracted. Just tell us a bit about the book.
Well, it's actually very industry friendly. I wrote the book for the consumer and for our clients, but it's actually used in many beauty schools. It's 10 chapters, everything from doing a proper consultation to fashion, and even a chapter called Salon Confidential that really shares with the consumer how to get their expectations met in a salon. But the color chapter is very industry friendly. It's very specific. Haircutting chapter, face shapes, and how to marry that haircut with the right balayage technique. So clients and stylists love it alike. So I love it. Even a makeup chapter and how to work with color and the science of color, working with the complexion and eye color and hair color, and why people with blue eyes have a little bit more of a range than myself.
Okay, so somebody asked about how do you price differently foils and balayage?
Well, interestingly enough, it depends how balayage-centric you are in your salon. If you are the only one doing it, maybe the only one even in your area, you can charge a lot more than traditional foils because it's a specialty. And if you can have a specialization or some type of specialty that no one else is doing, this automatically puts you in a different bracket for your pricing. So think of 20 to 40% higher than a traditional foil client. If you get press, of course that amps up your profile as a balayage artist. But you can write a press release and even send it to your local newspaper or the television, your local news in that area. And if you can get somebody to write about you, there goes your ability to charge a little bit more too. So it's about creating the, elevating your profile, creating that buzz about it. Now, if everybody in your salon is doing it, you might want to range maybe 15 to 20% more than foils. It does take a little bit longer when you're learning it, but once you get the hang of it, I can do balayage in less time than I do foils. It also is fantastic for the processing time and how you can book differently. So say if you process 45 minutes for your balayage, you can do a haircut or another color client while that one is processing, opposed to using foils and having half of them come up, or using heat and every 10 minutes you're checking, pulling you away from that client. So it's something that I help stylists with in how to book correctly, how to charge appropriately, and pre-book the next service.
Okay, I'm going to go grab the book because somebody keeps saying, what's the name of the book? What's the name of the book?
Well, it's Eva Scrivo on beauty.
And this is Eva Scrivo. Somebody said, who is this? It's Eva Scrivo on, all right, hang on, we're going to show you the book right here. And how convenient that, here's the lady. Here, hold it up.
Okay.
So that, and
so
where
like
can they get the book?
I have a twin. It's available at your bookstores. Of course, you can get a signed copy here at my salon. We'll personalize it for you if you just order it through our website at evascrivo.com, or of course on Amazon.
Okay, and somebody just asked for your Instagram tag. Your
Eva Scrivo Salons.
Eva Scrivo Salon. Okay, and you know what? Before we get back to the questions, we should point out that Eva has an academy where she teaches balayage and other kinds of color. How does one find out more about the academy?
Well, you can go to evascrivo.com, go right to Academy, and read about our upcoming classes. We do have a few availabilities for our color transformation and correction on August 17th, as well as the painted haircut coming up in November, which is my first haircutting class in my own academy. I've been an elite educator for many years for large companies, and I'm happy to share a technique-driven class with all of you. So we look forward to it.
Next week. Somebody, that's so cool. Okay, so somebody was asking when to use bleach and when to use color for balayage.
Well, of course, bleach will give you the quickest lightening. It's going to give you the brightest of blonde, so it really depends on the results that you're looking for. If you're looking for a very subtle gold, perhaps, maybe a level 8, a warm 7 or a warm 8, you can do a high lift tint. It also depends on the hair color that you're starting with. So perhaps if somebody has virgin hair, you might want to try a high lift balayage. If somebody has tinted level 5 hair, I would definitely grab your paste or your oil bleach lighteners.
Okay, somebody else was asking, how do you separate? Do you use plastic or mesh or cotton? How do you separate when you're doing balayage?
We use an array of products for separation. So sometimes, it really depends on the consistency of your product. When balayage first started in Paris, the bleach was very thick. It was almost like plaster. So therefore you didn't need so much separation. But with lighteners that are a little bit looser to paint with, depending on how thick it is, you can use cotton, you can use plastic, you can use meshes, and if it's thick enough, you can try not using anything. But of course, it really depends on the product that you're using. I do recommend paste lighteners for less bleeding and more control.
Okay, and people are asking, what brands do you use? What products and brands? I told you this was going to happen. I told you people were going to ask what you use.
Well, thankfully, I'm in a position where I can choose exactly what I want to use, depending on the client, depending on what type of effect that I'm trying to achieve. So I love Artego. I love Silk Lift by Goldwell. I will always be a fan of Platinum by L'Oreal. And there's so many new paste lighteners out there that I'm working with. I've worked with Blondor by Wella. I do recommend you trying them and working with the one that you like and the effect that you're looking for. It depends also if you're looking for a very icy cool blonde or a warmer blonde. Wella has come out with a new product that definitely has a warmer effect. I think it's called Free Lights. That's also nice to work with. But although the type of product is very important, the most important part is the technique. And it's about understanding the science of balayage, and that's what I teach in my classes. We call it blonde theory. And we hear so much about color theory, but I think blonde theory or it can be just as complicated as color theory. So the removal of pigment is just as important as the depositing of pigment. And that's what we love to share with our students here at the school.
Okay, again, people want to see the book. All right, you guys, the last time with the book, hold this up again.
Thank you.
And take a screenshot. It's Eva Scrivo on beauty. Tell us about because I only have it for one more minute. Tell us the Academy again, because then I want everybody to see my hair and how pretty it is. I'm just so grateful to you because you've made my hair so
you're my best
pretty.
client.
Yeah. So the Academy again?
At evascrivo.com, you can read about the classes. We have Power Blondes coming up, where I teach you about the most important demographic we can be doing right now is actually the baby boomer. It's 25% of the world's population, and they love their highlights, and they want to look younger.
That would be Maggie Mulhern. Oops, forgot to do my nails.
And this is a client that we all need to really understand and be sensitive to as her complexion changes and her hair changes, and how to work with more natural and subtle ways of highlighting. And because highlights, the reason why that they really work and make everybody look younger, more beautiful, it's pieces of light around the face. It reflects more light onto our complexion, and that's why they're so flattering to us.
All right, I'm going to hand this over to Jillian so you can hold it while she talks about my hair. So just tell us why my hair, again, I'm Maggie, the one who's somebody called me a camera lady. So why is this so great?
Well,
first of all, not a split end on this hair. Look at how long, it's all balayage, and it is my hair.
This is all hers, and she's always accused of having extensions. And partly, other than her having beautiful hair, naturally, is the technique in which I highlight it. And I use the balayage technique. I also use a very ash, neutral-based base color on her, because when a woman loses the base, and if she's covering gray, and if that base isn't rich enough, it doesn't look like an authentic blonde. So we use that base, and while the base is on, we use the painting technique. So this is a close-up of Maggie's highlights, and you can see all the dimension. It has the built-in low light, and because it's painted on without using a conductor of heat, as foil is, it processes more slowly, and it retains more natural shine in her hair. And that's the beauty of balayage, is it is a little bit healthier and softer for the hair. And Maggie is the best example of this, and a walking advertisement for me.
Yeah,
so thank you.
And a baby boomer, and look at, I do have, what percentage gray am I? And you can come in close, Jillian. What percentage gray am I?
Well,
was I?
Around your hairline, you're about 60% gray, and throughout about 30 to 40% gray. So of course there's softer formulas depending on what area that we're tinting. We also have done a light glazing on her today, just to kind of remove any of the brassiness from summer. But often Maggie is a no glaze, balayage only client, easy, easy, easy. So.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, my daughter calls me a sister wife. So, I know yes, I know she actually said that. So last time I'm going to show you the book. Any more questions? Anything else come in? Okay, so it's Eva Scrivo on beauty, and it's for the Academy. It's, what is it?
At evascrivo.com. You can see the class schedule coming up. Thank you, Mary.
I love and adore you. And I'm going to come over here because I have to show Jillian how to stop the broadcast. Goodbye, Miss Eva. Thank you so much.
Thank you.